Well,
Two
I don't
E's.
know what
Oh,
to
yeah.
say. You've let us down there.
Sorry, I was close, man. I was close.
All right, so the next item on the agenda is the Missouri Ozarks Community Action MOCA Board. We talked at our last meeting. We had a presentation from Donna Owen from the Pulaski County Housing Authority, and we had a discussion. So I made some phone calls, and I would like to bring this up for an action item here today. So first, with the I had made known my intentions that I think my 7.5 years on the MOCA board, it's probably time for me to step back and allow someone else to serve in that capacity. And I think, Joe, you had expressed an interest, and I think Erik probably as well. So I contacted the executive administrator, and I've got the forms that I need. Along with that, then I'll send in my letter of recommendation. So the way I would like to proceed here would be first on the private sector. So I want to bring Theresa into the conversation. Theresa had expressed an interest maybe serving on the Pulaski County Housing Authority. I've contacted Donna, haven't heard back from her. I also did reach out through just some reading of statutes that might answer the question, can it be an elected official or could it be a private citizen? That has come back inconclusive. There are not conflicting statutes, but it depends on how it was organized. This was organized in Pulaski County, not Laclede County. And so the one statute speaks if it would say be in the city of Lebanon as an example, the mayor would appoint 5 people. If it was a county, we would appoint 5 people, but this doesn't seem to check any of those boxes. So not hearing back from Donna, but what we do know is that she was seeking an elected official, one of the commissioners from Laclede County. So and I spoke with Theresa last week, gauging her interest. So first thing I think I'd like to do, saying all that, would be address the appointment to the Pulaski County Housing Authority. I think, Erik, you had expressed an interest in that. Is that a true statement? Okay.
Yes.
So I think on that, it would be best if there's really probably no further action we need to take other than you contact Donna and share with her your willingness to serve and see if there's anything else. I know when I was on that, there wasn't anything needed of me other than just a willingness to do it. So that's what she brought last week.
One of those.
You got one of them? Okay.
Yeah.
And you got a phone
number.
Okay. All right. So with that out of the way, then I would like to bring back up then the. So when I went to MOCA's website, I noticed that they have a vacancy for Laclede County for a private citizen. I thought, well, since I can't get the information I needed to recommend Theresa, we as a commission recommend Theresa for an appointment to the Pulaski Housing Authority, then it's like, okay, I'm going to approach Theresa and see if she'd be interested in serving on the MOCA board as a private citizen representing Laclede County. She agreed to do that. So I have an appointment here that we'll need to sign off on. Theresa, with your permission, we will appoint you. This is the decision of the commission, and we will send this this letter into them with our signature on it that we would like you to represent Laclede County on that board. They do meet once a month. It's the 4th Thursday of each month. The meetings have almost always been there at Richland at the corporate office. Occasionally they've met elsewhere, but it's been a long time since they have. And then during the COVID era, of course, there was no in-person meetings, and so therefore Zoom meetings have been more common than not. So, but that's when they meet. And so, again, with your permission, with approval of this commission, we'll send this in. They do have to approve it, which probably is required of their bylaws. Okay, so we will do that, and I'm sure David will be contacting you or one of the ladies there. Then the other thing would be on the public sector. Then this would be a commissioner and an alternate. And I think I heard you two speaking last week that Joe, I think, would be the designee, the representative, and Erik the alternate. And then when Joe wouldn't be able to make it, obviously we have an alternate. A lot of boards do this because sometimes they have difficulties making a quorum. So this is a good business practice for them. So with all that said, if we're all agreeing on it, then I will get these forms filled out along with my letter of resignation to David, and then whatever the next step would be after that. Is that fine?
That is fine. I think our intent was to be an alternate for each other on each.
Okay, yeah. I'll let you work that out with Donna on that. Okay. Yeah. So, and I'm sure that's fine. But so yep. Okay. All right. So that takes care of item number 2. So now we're in general county business.
Kentucky Bridge is starting to shape up a little bit better now. Got a few other things taken care of there. So hopefully about a week and a half, maybe it'll be finalized and done. We'll get the cap poured on it. Go from there. Always getting the wing walls done. Yeah, talked to Jared on it yesterday a little bit, yesterday afternoon. So
I'm sure they'll be happy to get that one completed.
You bet.
I think Jared will be the happiest when it gets completed.
Well, when you're not in on the design phase and then you work with what you've been left, then sometimes it can pose challenges. But he's risen to the occasion.
He has. He's done well,
and I'm sure it'll be a good finished project that'll last many years. So, to his credit and the credit of the road crew.
Yep, they're doing a fine job.
Okay, Erik. Okay. I have 2 items, just informational. One is I did receive a phone call from MoDOT yesterday regarding submitting a second application for the BRO program. So she's working on the second application for Nation out there, with the realization that with current funding, it's unlikely that we would get both of those. We hope that we will be successful in Livingston this year whenever those funding rounds take place. That conversation led me to believe that's certainly a possibility. I had heard earlier that they may only be able to fund the design phase or the engineering phase for this year, but I was a little more encouraged by what I heard that they might be able to fund a BRO project for us, Livingston being the next one. And then by having Nation program, then it's in the pipeline to be considered the next round, possibly as soon as next fall, whenever that round comes. So that's an update on that. We probably need to just keep working with Jeremy as that goes forward, and see what that looks like. But probably a little early for that. All right, the next thing I want to bring up data centers. Yesterday, I attended the town forum, a town hall meeting in Webster County, and there's a packed house, standing room only. They have a data center there that is grounds being broken, and there's a lot of anxiety, to say the least. And my big takeaways from that would be that we very well could experience the same thing that Webster County has if we do not kind of get out in front of this. So some of the concerns raised: first, their commissioners didn't learn of the project until it was on Facebook, which is disappointing, to say the least, and very frustrating for them. Then when they did have a town hall meeting with the developer, there was a lot of questions that didn't get answered. And so now there seems to be a trust gap. It's really a trust issue. And so the big takeaway for me is we need to be better informed, which I believe you know that on June 17th, Missouri Association of Counties, along with Missouri Municipal League and one other organization, is hosting a one-day, I'm going to say, seminar, if you will, to inform us about data centers. I have registered for that. I encourage both of you to do so if you can work in your schedules, or maybe already. Okay, but I will attend that and hope to learn more. But what I learned yesterday is this: nobody likes surprises. It puts everybody in a very difficult position, and then it creates that distrust. And there was a lot of emotion in that room, and much of it well-founded, because the individuals just simply were not getting their answers. And so I think we always are transparent. I'm trying to be transparent on this issue. We know of no data center looking at Laclede County at this time, but we may not know that until a data center has already acquired land and the deeds recorded, which has happened in Webster County, and then we're thrown into the mix, which is a responsibility. So one of my takeaways there was, if this happens in Laclede County, it's not going to be sufficient for us to say, well, we're a third-class county and we can't do anything about it because we don't have planning and zoning. That did not go. That went over like a lead balloon yesterday. People are going to be looking at their elected leaders to give them the answers and hold those developers and those individuals accountable to provide those answers. So with that, then I think we need to be looking at some of these ordinances that other counties have passed. Camden County, I know Webster County has legal services engaged to see what might be available for them. Then a gentleman stood up, and a group of private citizens went together, hired an attorney, and indicated that as of 8 a.m. yesterday morning, that they had a document to present to the commission that they believe would go a long ways to establish a moratorium. So that was the other big takeaway: is if you're unable to get all your questions answered and all the documentation from the developer, do they have all the DNR permits? Do they have EPA permits? What's the real water usage? None of those questions was getting answered yesterday. And again, it just feeds into distrust. What about my utility rates? Are they going to go up? Who knows? Those questions didn't get answered sufficiently. So there's just a lot of concerns out there, a lot of questions, and so there were more questions than answers provided. So I'm just encouraging us to be better informed, to be prepared, and to also know that there could be technology changes, as will happen, that some of these concerns might be addressed at some point in the future. You know, again, I don't know of a data center coming to Laclede County, but maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, there might be, and there might be new technology that would alleviate some of the concerns. So I think we just have to be informed, and we have to be transparent, and we have to be ready to conduct those meetings if and when they arrive here on our doorstep. So it was eye-opening to hear some of the concerns that people had, and some of the non-answers as well.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I would hope, I'm like you, I mean, transparency, and I would hope that if something like that did come up, I was contacted a little over a year ago by a concerned citizen over a data center. I checked into some things, done some stuff, found out that it was untrue at that time, but he had heard something on one. I think that was the one that may have went toward Webster County instead of being in Laclede County, and everything. So I just hope that, like you said, we're going to be held accountable. Elected officials are going to be held accountable to help out, to inform, and make sure things are done the best that it can for our county and for our city and stuff like that. So
yeah, and I'm only speaking, Joe, from the county standpoint.
Sure.
I'm staying in my lane. You know, what might be or not outside of our jurisdiction, but I'm just speaking on behalf of Laclede County and what we have maybe some jurisdiction over. So, and you know, there's, again, with technology and there's different phases to these types of projects. You know, does it start out with this capacity, and then do they increase? Do they start out with a larger footprint? This one was 5 acres. Being built near a substation there. The co-op director or CEO was there. He spoke to that. They have the capacity. He made some really good points that citizens shouldn't be concerned about rollouts or blackouts or rolling blackouts, whatever that might be. Wasn't convincing, but you know, from his 30 years experience, he believed that there was no doubt in his mind that they had the capacity to do it, but again, you get to thinking about, okay, now what if they add that next phase? And then another article I read that NVIDIA, which is a large chip maker, is working on some technology that we use our homes to be, and I know just skim level surface about this, that they could use homes to be a node, if you will. I'm going to use the term a node, and the heat generated from those homes because of the CPUs and that they use in these processors, then would be converted back into heating water and heating the home. So my point of all that would just be that I can't predict the future. When it comes here, maybe there'll be newer options, but coming from the technology world, there could be a lot of options that would look different if and when this comes to Laclede County. So I'm not speculating on anything. I'm just trying to be a better informed citizen and commissioner when it gets here. So that's what I learned yesterday. Public comments, items listed on the agenda. None. Routine business. Everybody gets to see a copy of the bills we paid?
Yes.
Okay. Wendy, do you have any? You do.
stuck in there somewhere.
What do we usually, what's the starting wage for grader operator? Either of you remember?
I don't.
20.
For starting on probation, because we talked about a point in time where we looked at those tiers that we'd established and we said, okay, we'll call this a probationary period, and then we move to, yeah. Do you have any idea on
I
that?
don't remember.
Might need to revisit it if you want to.
Yeah, just whatever. I just would like to adhere to that structure that we have established unless there's objections. And that very well may.
Yeah, I'd like to look into that too. That brings up right there.
Are we speaking of this one?
Yeah.
Road bridge, yes, sir.
So,
All I'm speaking in context of the tiers, all I'm asking for is a reminder, because I don't remember what our tier structure was, and that very well may be it. But before I sign off on it, that's a question that I have.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with anything other than the tier
I guess
structure.
I better look and see what I'm signing. Had me thinking about something else.
Yep.
Yep. All right. I don't know about that. All right.
Robin have that?
We should have it in our book.
Yeah.
Do you have it? Please.
Yeah.
Please.
I think there are some steps there that are wanting to be completed before it gets up to, all the way to that lowest level.
All the way down to the lowest level?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why, you think it's less than that?
Well, I don't know.
We'll know more here in a minute.
I don't know. I'm sure it's fine as presented, but if not, I would like to have that opportunity to,
A refresher.
yes. I think the probation period is designed to be just that, and it gives us the opportunity to do the evaluation and be able to provide that opportunity for an individual to move up, and I think that's been successful, and I'd like to see it continue, and I hope that's it.
Talks about probationary and then levels.
That's.
Yeah, okay, well, I was wrong. I was
That
What I
says
was
of
thinking.
January
47, I was
2025.
73 cents off.
Yeah, that's under this date.
25.
January 16, 2025.
Mm-hmm.
What did we do for this year?
Yeah,
Did we update? I've got my
Yeah,
payroll.
probably
Because you would have had.
plus whatever.
Yeah. Add 3.
1847.
Three to that. what I would recommend then is,
We can-
let's look at that to make sure what that number needs to be. And then, if the number is the number established for someone onboarding during a probationary period, I'm fine with whatever that number is. Okay, so if you're okay with that, to go ahead and get this processed, can we conditionally?
It won't hurt anything.
It won't
if it's
hurt
next week.
Okay,
There's no
Okay.
timing
Okay.
issue on
Okay.
that.
So just leave it, yeah.
all right, with that then, public comments, items not listed on the agenda.
I saw that there was a library board application. Do you know who the person is who's?
Susan Sellers.
Susan Sellers would be the current, member, that, was appointed and,
Her term is expiring. That's all.
yeah, term expiring, but she can reapply. Yeah. Other business,
Mm-mm.
adjournment.
Adjournment.
Do we stand adjourned?